Monday morning is a little harsh. The moon is in Aquarius, squaring Uranus and opposing Mars. And the Mars-Uranus square just happened. So this is the moon coming through and activating it. The second part of Monday, like with the thing about Monday, it gets better. The second part of Monday, the moon has made it to Pisces, and then it's applying to a trine with Jupiter in Cancer, so that is wonderful. And the rest of the day is the moon applying to Venus in Taurus. So the first part of Monday, challenging. The second part of Monday, if you rose to the challenges, then maybe you get something nice. It's not only the moon applying to exalted Jupiter, it's the moon ruled by and applying to exalted Jupiter, and then dignified Venus. Oh, and the moon and Jupiter have mutual reception. So Jupiter is in the sign of the moon is in Jupiter's sign. This is like things have been unrelenting, and this is a relenting. As you may have noticed, there's a lot going on, a lot of changes going on, so enjoy the little break. Not only could like Monday, the second half of Monday, be like cute and nice. It gets cuter and nicer later, but that middle of the day part of Monday after the moon is past, just like midday on Monday, it's not just nice, there's like something meaningful. And in the middle of the night between Monday and Tuesday, Mars enters Virgo. So that is now, whatever that was, is now behind us for now. The Mars and Leo story. That was a long period. It started like November of 2024. Mars entering Leo the first time before stationing retrograde and going retrograde through Leo in Cancer. And although Mars entered shadow, left shadow a long time ago, this is the true end of a story that began last fall. And the rest of Tuesday is just finishing out the last phase of the moon's third quarter. And first thing in the morning, you get that exact moon sextile Venus. And then most of the day is the moon applying to a trine with Mercury in Cancer. So maybe some more feelings get talked about. Jupiter's in Cancer now, so a lot of feelings are going to get activated. So with Mars in Virgo, Mars will be in Virgo until early August, when it enters Libra and begins to square. That's Mars in detriment squaring Saturn in Aries, which is challenging. So enjoy this. I don't know, it's angular in my chart, so we'll see. Doesn't have to be bad. Mars, a prominent Mars in a nativity or by transit can just be vigorous. It doesn't have to be bad. Just get ready to do something with that energy, or be careful where you point that thing. But Mars in Virgo is a lot more critical, and it's also like the eye for detail is the mission. So that's very good in the workplace. It's not as good in relationships. It could be like overly critical. And it's also, there's like a dry cynicism or like sarcasm. So we're all going to be rolling our eyes and pointing out, like rolling our eyes and being the script soup. But if Mars is like what the mission is, then the mission is attention to detail. So it doesn't have to be cynical, it doesn't have to be overly critical to your loved ones. It could just be like, what's the holy mission? If this were a crusade, then it's attention to detail. Making it attending to things vigorously. This also puts Mars with the South Node. So the South Node increases. So it makes benefics more benefic. It makes malefics more malefic. No, it doesn't. It makes, okay, the South Node. We're talking about the South Node. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes, and the moon is going to conjoin the North Node between Tuesday and Wednesday. And then I'm talking about how Mars is with the South Node. So the South Node makes benefics less benefic. It makes malefics less malefic. So there's like the wind has come out of the sails, or so this Mars mission of attention to detail, there's also just gonna be like a detachment to it. Like Virgo cares a lot. Virgo I just want to use profanity. Like Virgo really gives an F. And with this, maybe Mars is attending to the details, but not really giving a darn about it. It's not too important. With the North Node, it's almost too important. And with the South Node, it's just like, it's laissez-faire to like a crazy extent. There's nothing laissez-faire about how not important it feels. Like you almost don't want to engage. So it's almost like, all right, we're attending to detail, pressing the buttons, filling out the forms, checking everything off the list. But whatever, we missed something, fine. This section of the list, get rid of it. What can you purge? This Mars in Virgo could be a very good time to clean if you're going to. I thought the South Node in Virgo, I was like, it's mega cleaning, but it wasn't. It was more North Node's in Pisces. So the moon is coming through, and the moon aspects Mars while it's still in Leo. And then it moves into Pisces, and then Mars moves into Virgo. So we transition, like both the moon is activator of the zodiac, and we're transitioning to this like emphasis again on the Pisces Virgo axis. And it's just the North Node there now. Saturn has left, Neptune has left, which is crazy. And so now we have another like malefic transit on the Pisces Virgo axis. It's been a complicated neighborhood lately. Wednesday is a lot going on. As you can see, it's the Jupiter-Neptune square. I'll get to that shortly. It's mostly a chill morning on Wednesday, but the moon makes a sextile to Uranus around 2 p.m. whilst still in Pisces. So like chill, but with a zap of some sort of energy that then continues into just something else entirely, kind of mirroring the whole tone of all of spring when the moon moves into Aries. And moon is our activator. Now, all of that stuff, the Jupiter-Saturn square, this Jupiter-Neptune square, is getting activated by the moon. So we're going to see stuff that's about. So on Wednesday, the moon enters Aries, and then so it's like Wednesday night is when all the stuff goes down. So the moon doesn't move into Aries until around 4 p.m. So most of the day is just this, like, whatever, moon sextile Uranus, little zap. And the moon conjoining the North Node in between Tuesday and Wednesday. So then Wednesday night is when things, you might feel this more on Thursday or be processing it Thursday because there are no aspects going exact on Thursday. So at night, the moon conjoins Saturn in Aries, squares Jupiter in Cancer because Saturn and Jupiter just squared, so we're getting an activation of that. So there might be some sort of like tech announcement around Wednesday, like early or just this coming week sometime, because that's when the moon goes through. But I'll talk more about Jupiter Saturn and Jupiter Neptune in a minute. And the moon conjoins Neptune in Aries. And then after the Jupiter Neptune square, the moon sextiles Pluto. So all of the future is fully activated on Wednesday. And Thursday, you'll just be, the moon's squaring Mercury, so maybe like annoying for getting your ducks in a row. But so Jupiter squares Neptune on Wednesday. And this is like a reverberation of April of 2022. So think back to what maybe something that started around then. This is like the opening square of a long cycle. So this is when there's like some friction, or it's just like it's coming into being. Vigorous activity. So if Jupiter is like expansion and success, and Neptune is this like delulu romanticizing of aggression, these things are at odds. Or there might be some like major initiative that is not, it's like a little too romanticized, or maybe it ends up not quite hitting the mark, or maybe it ends up serving the Saturn-Neptune thing. So I think of the new like Sam Altman and Johnny Ive computing initiative. That's very this time. Jupiter squaring Saturn and Jupiter squaring Neptune. Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune in Aries. The new, more mandatory metaverse. The future of computing. Like all the future of computing is all personal. And we're going to wear it. Like you've been trying to wear your phone with like an armband or a crossbody thing or whatever. So there's like the expansion, the success of Jupiter, the protection, the nourishing of Jupiter in Cancer, the knowing what to spend your time on or what to invest your resources into in order to protect and serve. Not really cop energy in Cancer, but maybe a little just very specific cop energy. And so all of that Jupiter stuff, there's like some delusion or deception in the way, like getting in the way of it. And so look at just like what houses those two, or Neptune doesn't rule anything. look, what is the sign of Aries in your chart? What part of your life is that? And then what part of your chart is Jupiter? And then what sign or what houses in your chart does Jupiter rule? Because what happens to the planet happens to the houses. So there's something about like those two houses that Jupiter rules that want to like go forward and create good in the world and be successful. And then something in the in the Aries part where Neptune is like it's like over idealizing, romanticizing something where it's like black in the eyes, and if Mars ruled things are mission oriented, and now Mars is going to be in Virgo with the South Node. You might be missing some details. You might be romanticizing something. You might have felt this coming on over the past couple weeks. So look back and be like, oh, that's the thing. Hindsight of Mercury Epimetheus. So the things that I think, like, especially with like future of computing stuff and metaverse stuff, which like OpenAI is starting a metaverse, we're all like, it's more of a luxury to be able to give your data to ChatGPT or whatever. It's more of like, it's now being packaged as like a high-end thing that you want to do. And if you use ChatGPT, have you noticed the interface is all gray? But if you've had your eyeball scanned, then your speech bubble when you chat to us, which is what AI is, us, your speech bubble becomes blue, I think. It might be a different color. I can't remember if it's blue or what. And you get like a little jewel by your name. So that's like, you're going to want to have your eyeball scanned, and that's, we live in the future. You came here for this. So with the future of computing stuff, I think of like the branding is like sweet and like about like connection and trust and security and protection and nurturing. And then there's actually like aggressive capturing of data in the background. And then if you're ever, the goal in this future is to never be dependent on systems as much as you can. Like that's like, you're a billionaire if you're not like dependent on any system. But to keep that in mind and to side-eye social services a little bit if you're a person who really needs to take advantage of that stuff, trying to get out of it as soon as possible, because slowly over the years it's going to be more and more like frogs in hot water. All the details of your life will be like subject to scrutiny, and that's mass surveillance. That's like the panopticon. If you noticed, all the AI logos look like an illustration of the panopticon. But this is getting really negative. And Jupiter is in Cancer, and that's nice. But no buts. How can we keep our minds focused on the positive, even when it's really, really difficult? How did you do that last week? So Friday, and that was, so Thursday, nothing happens. That doesn't mean nothing happens in your life. I got, on a side note, I got a comment on you. If you want to know what planets activated for you this year, you should go find, it might be harder to find in YouTube Shorts because they make it harder for you to choose your thumbnail. I always forget by the time I post it to YouTube. So I don't know what the thumbnail cover looks like on YouTube, but if you go to like TikTok or Instagram and find my reel on, it's like how to calculate what planet is activated for you this year. I think it says astrology hack, and it's like a blue background with like round windows with light coming through them. That will show you how to look up what planet is activated for you this year. And I got a comment, this is kind of a tangent. I got a comment asking like, what if the house that is activated this year is empty? Like, empty houses in your chart don't mean, most of you watching already know this. This is on the off chance that there's somebody new. If you have an empty house in your chart, to look at like what's up with that house as a baseline thing in your natal chart, then you find the ruler of that house, the planetary ruler, the traditional one, not the modern one, because that's not a thing. And you look at where that planet is, what's going on with that planet, because what happens to the planet happens to the house. And this person was like, I never understood how that works, and I forget like what people know and don't know. It seems like obvious to me just because this is what I do, but so it's kind of the same with this, like, nothing happens on Thursday, but that's not like, it's just like Thursday we're in between the moon sextiling Pluto on Wednesday night and the moon squaring Mercury on Friday morning. And this is the moon in Aries squaring Mercury in Cancer. So we're getting more of that activation of this Aries Cancer axis. Going back to Wednesday, another thing that like the Jupiter Neptune stuff makes me think of is what has been going on in Los Angeles with like, there's like on the one hand like keeping families together, protecting people who've lived there for a long time, and then like a very aggressive initiative to like fight that. So Friday is mostly pretty chill all day long. We come out of the Mercury squaring the moon, and then it's just the moon sextiling the sun until until the moon moves into Taurus and the sun moves into Cancer at night. So chill, but it's also a very important time. Like this whole week is a very important time. In ancient Egypt, it was the new year. It's now summer. From here, the light will begin to go down. It's maximum light. So, and I haven't done a summer live thing. I don't know if I will. So we made it through spring, which is the craziest season of this year. And there's still crazy stuff to come, but that was a lot. I think we can all agree that was a lot. So now the sun is in Cancer. It's Cancer season. Jupiter's in Cancer. Jupiter's now combust officially again. And so Thursday night is like very different feeling because the moon, like now, there's a lot more like grounded, calm energy, or like energy that's rooted in matter and emotion. And the moon trines Mars at night, so you might find like Friday evening, like, fun, or because the moon is also sextiling Jupiter. So there's like an energy, like a fun, vigorous energy in the air. And just don't go overboard, because the moon is squaring Pluto around like a little after midnight on Friday night. And then all Saturday is, all Saturday is just the moon coming out of that square with Pluto and then conjoining Venus in Taurus. So Friday, second half of Friday night, and Saturday night seem really fun and good. So Saturday night, we also have Mars sextiling Jupiter. And so that's like energy for Mars. I don't know what it does for Jupiter, but Jupiter is really helping Mars out with whatever Mars is doing. It seems like it's kind of complicated, because like Mars is technically with the South Node now, even though it's pretty far away. So this seems like an energetic start to Mars's transit in Virgo, and like energetic and inspiring. And as it goes on, it'll kind of like lose steam or something throughout the next couple months. And so Sunday is busy. The moon sextiles Mercury in the morning, which is so like chatty morning, are lots of like dot connecting, and that's kind of a weird foreshadowing for later in the day when the moon enters Gemini. So something is going to get like picked up and carried through. And the sun squares Saturn, and this is the opening square. The sun conjoined Saturn on March 12th. So this is whatever that cycle, like that was the closing out of an old cycle, a yearly cycle, and the opening of a new one. And this is like we're a quarter of the way through the Sun-Saturn cycle. Think of things like endings, limitations, discipline, how what has changed since the sun conjoined Saturn in Pisces. And then something kind of special happens. Uranus is about to move into Gemini, and the moon is activator of the zodiac. And the moon is high-fiving Uranus, conjoining Uranus in Taurus right before moving into Gemini. And Uranus is going to move into Gemini July 7th or something. And this is about how money is changing, and how you are money, and how all these weird things in the world now count as money. That'll be more apparent as like in the next couple of years. But something is like story of money is changing, and the story of how we relate to each other, it's becoming more and more transactional in the metaverse. Every interaction is some sort of transaction that can be logged and remembered. And so there's something constellating around that, like it might be under the hood, not noticeable. But something around Sunday is like this other piece of the future that's not the Pluto and Aquarius stuff, not the Saturn, Neptune in Aries stuff. It's the Uranus, the new Uranus transit. And Uranus in Gemini is very important for the United States. So we're going to expect to see some very important stuff going on, especially next 4th of July. Mark your calendars for that. And in addition to like being like, hey, conjoining Uranus for the last time before it moves into Gemini for the first time, Uranus will move back into Taurus for a short time at the end of this year. The moon in Gemini sextiles Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So this is what Uranus is going to be doing when Uranus enters Gemini. So we get like something to raise an eyebrow about, or something that has kind of a similar theme of what Uranus is going to come through and light up, electrify. So the conclusion of Sunday is just the moon, just the moon training Pluto, and then squaring Mars. The moon in Gemini now is squaring Mars in Virgo. So Sunday might have, like, especially the second half of Sunday might have this like energetic, kind of all over the place and kind of like frictive, frustrating, a little like volatile energy. Remember to take really, really good care of yourselves.